We begin once again with a new political fight over a well-worn topic, Benghazi. Check out the tweet Speaker John Boehner fired out today announcing your majority members of the Select Committee on Benghazi. The only thing missing there is the line, "Let's get ready to rumble." Democrats deciding whether to go along with this latest exercise and outrage against the Obama administration and Hillary Clinton's tenure at the State Department. And I am joined now by a man who says not only should Democrats attend, but that Benghazi can actually wind up helping Hillary in a run for president in 2016. Joining me, Lanny Davis, former White House counsel, special counsel during the Clinton administration, and author of the book, Crisis Tales, 5 Rules for Coping with Crises in Business and Politics and Life. Hey, Lanny, good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Well, thanks. And talk about the word well-worn. I couldn't be happier that the Republicans are helping to change the subject about why they can't answer questions about health care, jobs, and all the things people care about, and are giving us a chance to talk about partisan Republicans. That's all they can do is investigate, investigate, investigate. Well-worn, old news, been there, done that.
Now, the decision for Democrats is whether or not to go along with this or just boycott it outright. What's your advice?
Look, when we have facts on our side, I see no reason to boycott. I see a lot of reason to embarrass them. For example, every time they say the word cover-up and the word spontaneous demonstration triggered by the Cairo protests, those words have been used to show a cover-up by the White House, when we know the fact that they can't dispute, which is the CIA wrote that sentence based upon then current intelligence and turned out to be wrong. Will they be honest, or will we challenge them by showing up and saying, who wrote the word spontaneous demonstration? Are you willing to say the CIA was in the tank for the White House when the deputy director who worked for 3 Republican presidents over a 30-year career is being accused of what? No Republican has the guts or the courage, certainly not Congressman Gowdy, who's driving this thing, to say it was the CIA that wrote that expression, spontaneous demonstration triggered by protests. He turned out to be wrong because he based it on then current intelligence that changed over time.
But the Rhodes memo that was revealed most recently, you got to admit that was a screw-up from the communication shop in the White House.
Well, I know what he meant. He was talking about the protests, that the video across the Middle East, we all know there were protests, they were televised, there were demonstrations, it was about the video. I would have taken all of these talking points, 14 versions, if I were in the White House, and put them out immediately to the American people to show that the phrase spontaneous demonstration came from the CIA. Susan Rice was left to twist in the wind while the White House communication shop sat on those talking points. So I believe in getting the facts out. That's why we ought to be at these hearings, to embarrass the Republicans with something called facts, rather than the conspiracy theories of Mr. Gowdy, who actually believes that aliases were invented and people were spread around the world and hidden because of the Benghazi. This is a man who probably will tell us that green Martians are going to land in Washington in a conspiracy to take over the country next week. Now,
Frank Rich was with us last night and said, voters don't give a damn about Benghazi. 4 people died, though. I mean, do you agree?
That's pretty harsh.
It is pretty harsh.
I give a damn. Secretary of State Clinton, President Obama, everybody grieved, especially Hillary Clinton, very close friend, Ambassador Chris Stevens. Of course, everybody has great grief for the families, for the people who died, great regrets that mistakes were made, that intelligence was wrong, that more protection wasn't granted. Secretary of State Clinton appointed Ambassador Pickering, who served 4 presidents, from Ronald Reagan all the way through President Obama, and Admiral Mullen, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, 2 people who can't exactly be called partisan. She appointed them to a board immediately. They studied and interviewed and came up with 29 recommendations. They said there was systemic failure. What did Hillary Clinton say? I take responsibility. I'm implementing every recommendation. And she has said recently her greatest regret as Secretary of State was what happened in this tragedy. So I do give a damn.
You know, they would love to get her in front of this committee and testify. How would you advise her?
Well, look, this is a circus. The Whitewater hearings were a circus. the entire Republican investigation machine only knows how to investigate and make a media circus. They don't know how to solve problems. They haven't told us what to do about people with pre-existing conditions while they want to repeal Obamacare. So this is a circus. Would Hillary Clinton help contribute to that circus atmosphere? I suppose she would. But she also has the facts on her side, and the fact she accepted responsibility. Yeah. I would think that they'll probably call her just to increase the circus, but they're not helping themselves. They're helping the Democratic Party, quite frankly. I have no fear about these hearings. That's why I think the Democrats ought to show up.
Now, you've had kind words in the past for Rand Paul, who might be an opponent of Hillary in a couple of years. And he keeps dusting off this attack against Bill Clinton in relation to the Lewinsky affair. I know you don't talk about Monica in general, but I want to ask you about his tactic here. Take a listen to what he just said today.
Absolutely. I think it's really important that, for 6 months leading up to Benghazi, there were multiple requests for more security, and she turned these down. There needs to be an extra. What I would ask anybody is it ever appropriate for a 50-year-old man to take advantage of, even if it's consensual, a 20-year-old woman in the workplace and have relations in the office? No one agrees with that being appropriate. Almost any job in the whole country, you would be fired. I think that he harassed people. He was sued multiple times for it. So yes, I think what he did was absolutely inappropriate. Is that being a predator? I don't know how you want to define it, but the thing is most people would say it's contemptible.
Your reaction, Lanny?
I wrote a column about that man when he ran for the Senate, disagreeing with almost everything he stands for, but saying he was an intellectually honest, nice man. His dad, Ron Paul, who was running for president, called me the very next day and thanked me for the column. So let me revise my view. Nasty doesn't work in America, Senator Paul. You're a nasty person to viciously attack and lay that on Hillary Clinton when the American people long ago heard President Clinton apologize for his private conduct. I would say that my first donation for President of the United States in the Republican Party will be to Rand Paul. May he be the nominee. I hope he's the nominee and will win by 50 state landslide, because he's nasty, and nasty doesn't sell in American politics.
Lanny Davis, appreciate your ideas tonight. Thanks for being here.
Thanks
All right.
a lot.